Hey, art fans, thanks so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. It is awesome when you do that. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. It means the world to me that you're here, you're spending time. You could be spending time anywhere, and you chose to spend time here. Thanks very much. Okay, just sitting here drawing in my sketch pad, which is kind of fun. I'm doing an inked drawing of Batman there. We got that on camera? Camera people?
Got it.
The camera people. As they were setting up, I just sat here drawing in my sketch pad. I always have a sketch pad around. In fact, I got about 3 of them over here. Where's my other 2? I got these 2 guys, too. One of them is recycled. This is recycled paper, I think. Wait. Yeah, that's recycled paper. Has a whole different feel than this paper. This is brand new paper. So that's the regular sketch paper and the recycled. It took me a while before I realized one was recycled. I'm like, oh, cool, one's green, one's brown. There couldn't be any difference. And then you just realize that your pen kind of uses up more ink than the recycled paper. It's a little more porous. It takes more ink to get a drawing done. Anyway, those factors do matter when you draw. Okay, going into the world of digital arts, I'm sure a lot of you out there draw on an iPad or some kind of a tablet sort of thing. If you don't, that's okay, but I encourage you to learn it because it is the future. It's not going away. You're going to be asked at some point to draw on a pad because it's easier to email drawings to people, easier to change things, and that sort of stuff. So get used to drawing on an iPad if you can. Speaking of iPads, look at this. I've got an iPad. Dun, da, da, and I'm using this program on here called Procreate. They're not even sponsoring this video, and yet I'm talking about them. You're welcome, Procreate. All right. Anyway, today we're going to draw One Punch Man, and there he is right there. One Punch Man, Saitama, and one of my favorite anime heroes. I know I love the look of the show, but I love the humor in the show. I think any time you can get a character that looks great and combine it with some great writing, you're really off to a good start. And here's another really awesome sculpture of One Punch Man. Love this one too. I just love the motion. I love the motion in both of these. I ordered these both from Japan. They're very, very cool. And I forget the company name. But then when you get it in the mail, it's all got Japanese writing on it. I forget. I just Googled One Punch Man figures and these came up. So anyway, these are super cool. Love both of these. Are really well done. And I figured it'd be kind of cool to do a tutorial video today. I haven't done one in a while. I was doing them for a while. I did a couple, not really a lot. And I thought I would just do one today. And I know a lot of anime fans out there want to learn how to draw anime. I am okay at drawing anime. I'm not great. I'm not a super hey, I'm an anime artist. I don't claim to be an anime artist in any way. But I do claim to be an artist that likes anime. And I'm going to do my best to do you a One Punch Man based on what I know about drawing and how to draw superheroes and body figures and, just normal, ordinary human bodies. So here we go. A lot of you out there might be a little intimidated when it comes to drawing the human body. And here's why. Because it's realistic. And a lot of people go well, I want to draw cartoons because it's a little safer. You don't have to draw realistically. You don't have to worry about all the the joints and the hairs and the wrinkles and all that stuff. Cartoons kind of get you away from that. You can draw kind of a stylized version of real life, which, is fun. But we're going to do our best to do One Punch Man today. And I'm just going to do it here. We got the iPads plugged in, right? Mm-hmm. iPad's all plugged in. And you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'm just going to start and show you how to do certain things. So I'm going to draw in blue first. I picked a blue color here. I'm going to pick my my pencil, picking the pencil here. And I'm going to start with his head. I'm really lucking out here with One Punch Man because he has no hair at all. Now, we'll do another video down the road where I'll draw a character with lots of hair, and you can see the difference between drawing with hair and without. Maybe I can do a drawing of Chewbacca, who's covered in hair, or maybe Sully from Monsters, Inc. If you want to see that, leave a comment. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to start off just drawing him standing still. We'll just draw a normal human figure and draw Saitama standing still, and then we'll get into some poses. So I'm going to draw his head. Obviously, any human head is sort of an oval shape. No matter who you are in the world, your head's more of an oval than a circle. Mostly because your brain has to go up here and then everything kind of falls down. Now, some people, you've seen people with big jaws, things like that. Of course, there are variations. But especially One Punch Man, his head's definitely an oval. I've got the figure here just to make sure I get the costume details right. And it's funny, but what's funny about him is he's the most powerful hero in the world and has the most unassuming costume. So let's forget the costume for a bit. Let's just draw his body. So we'll do his we'll do his head. A lot of people like to put the old crosshair on the face to get center the eyes, the nose, the mouth. We'll get there in a moment. But we'll draw his neck, and then we'll make his shoulders kind of come down here. He's not a very big guy. He's kind of scrawny. And so we'll kind of draw his torso here. And I'm kind of basing this on a square. Like there's the main part of his torso. Kind of a square, dropping it down off the rib cage there. His rib cage would come right about there. Come down to his waist. Right about like that. And now to draw the pelvic area, we would just kind of come down into a bathing suit shape. There's like the bathing suit shape, yes. Kind of like a Ken doll. And then we'll draw his legs. Legs are just, really they're tubes. If you look at them, they're kind of just tubes stuck to the body in a way. If you guys want to follow along, you can. If you have a sketch pad at home or even an iPad, sketch pad, follow right along with me. Let's put the knees in there. The knees are circles or little ovals themselves. Kind of bring the leg in there toward the knee more. And then we will make the calf muscles. There you go, calf muscles. The calves are baby cows. Anyway, all right. So there's sort of a bike. See his body coming together there. Now I'm going to shorten. I'm going to move the body a little up because I don't have enough room for his feet. So the cool thing about this program, I can just grab the drawing and move it up a couple of billionths of an inch. There you go. So now I can do his feet, and the feet are just shapes. They're just these little, almost like teardrop shapes, because they're coming right at us. And if you look, he's got these really boring kind of boots on. I think part of the genius of this character is he's super powerful, yet has a very lame costume. Very lame costume. Now, okay, what's missing? Oh wait, his arms. That's right. So let's see. Let's kind of do his shoulders. His shoulders a little. The shoulder caps are just half circles, and then we drop down like that, and then make the forearms come out. Now, one key part of drawing the human figure is the fingertips. Well, I'm going to watch that finger. Your fingertips come down to the center of your thigh. If you put your hand all the way down, stand up, put your hands down to your sides, your fingertips come to the middle of your thigh. If your fingertips go farther than the middle of your thigh, you're drawing a character with super long arms, or shorter, super short arms. So it's sort of middle of the thigh right there. I can adjust it a bit when I ink. So there's his hands. It's a little long to me. I'm going to shorten them again, like I said, when we get to the inking process. So now let's go to his face. Let's enlarge this and draw his face. Those of you out there who draw, you know that obviously there's an eye at each side of the nose. You just look at that. Look at your own face to know that. Let me look. But he's got more of an anime face. He's got these big anime eyes. So we're going to like kind of lengthen his eyes a bit. They're almost like Batman mask eyes. So a little more anime-ish type of eyes. And then we're going to look at his mouth. His chin comes really down to a kind of a narrow point. So we'll kind of narrow his face a little bit. Kind of like this. He's got these kind of like elf eyebrows, like that. And then his nose. Let's put his eyes there. Okay, there you go. There is One Punch Man's face. And his ears. I'm looking at both figures here. His ears kind of come out at the top. Again, almost like an elf. They're not pointed, but they kind of come out at the top a little bit, like that. So we will just do that there. Great. Now we'll start adding some costume details. And he's kind of got this collar that's really strange. It's almost like a hazmat suit that he wears. Zipper goes there. He's got this real big zipper clasp on his. You can see it more on this one. Yeah, it's a big zipper clasp. It kind of hangs down like this. It's kind of a big circle. And then he's just got kind of red gloves. He's got a lot of wrinkles on his suit, and he's got a belt. His belt is a big round circle. If you can't draw a circle right off the bat, do not freak. We'll put some red glove, put the gloves on him there, and his boots. And you can see the whole body there. There we have a One Punch Man kind of standing there. Now in these sculptures, his cape is kind of flying everywhere. So I'm just gonna, and his cape is attached in a weird way. Yeah, it comes right down to the front of his collar, like this. Yeah, there we go. So that kind of goes around. There we go. But we'll make the cape hanging, okay? So again, like I said, I said in my mind before I actually said it. As an artist, not only do you need to know how to do human figures, but drapery, drapery, costumes, wrinkles, fabrics, clothing. There's also objects, like homes, cars, mountains, weapons, things like that. It's all kinds of things you really should study if you want to be a great artist. I remember meeting Steve Rude years ago. He's one of the premier comic artists out there. And he said, I just spend hours on rooftops sometimes just drawing things on rooftops, like chimneys and ventilation fans and doorways. Because he'd do a lot of Superman comic books. And when Superman lands on a roof, what's on the roof? You don't know until you go up there. Okay, now we're going to ink this. Time to ink, which is cool about this program. I can just throw in the layer on it. If you do this in Photoshop, same thing. I'm going to grab an ink pen, go to my ink pens here. I like to work with the technical pen. Again, I could do the same thing in my sketch pad like I did here with Batman. Only I can't erase here in the sketch pad. But I will be going over this. So I'm going to drop the opacity over our One Punch Man here. Kind of drop that opacity. And then I'm going to begin to ink. Yep, I'm on the right layer. So let's just start inking. Let's be really careful when we ink. Don't go nuts. Again, it helps to practice in here to learn your ink technique. And then you can transfer it over to the digital area. If you start learning how to ink digitally, it'll be tougher when you go to pencil and paper and real materials because you won't have any technique really because it's sort of you won't have any real technique because learning here, there's a whole different thing than doing it in reality. You'll understand what I mean when you get into it. Okay, so let's start by inking the one side of his face here. You see this gives a really nice black line. I'm going to go a little slower than normal just so you guys can see what I'm doing. And the great thing about this, I can turn this layer just like I would be able to do in a sketch pad. Digital art is cool if it behaves like real materials. What I don't like about digital art is if something happens with this iPad right now, if it were to crash or if I spilled water on it or something, I would lose this drawing. But Butch, wouldn't you lose it if it spilled in your sketch pad too? Yes, but I could still, see it. It wouldn't just vanish completely. So yeah, so anyway, it's always good to have things in reality. Keep in mind, digital art is kind of reality, or is it? All right. There you go. So ink in the face. And then you can still do thick and thin lines on here. You can push a little harder, get a thicker line, get your technique. It's almost like my Darth Maul lightsaber here. There we go. So there we go. And just coming through there on the iPad pretty good.
Great.
Can you see everything? So again, just you'll see I'm not following the blue line exactly. As I get into the inking, I sort of start I start fine-tuning. Things are a little bit wonky sometimes in the pencil part of the drawing. So I'll kind of start fine-tuning it as I go. He's got a little bit of eye makeup almost under his eye. So I push a little harder there. And One Punch Man has these little tiny eyes, like little beady eyes. There you go. And we're going to do that. We'll give him a serious mouth. And now again, his very elven eyelashes. We'll just kind of push a little. We'll start thin, then we'll push a little harder, then let go of it. It's almost like you really got to control your pen there. So you see the face coming to life. See there? I'll add a little bit of shadow under his neck. So now I'm going to ink his body, and obviously it's a body with clothing on. And don't forget, clothing has what? Wrinkles and texture. Now, when I was a kid, I would get all these comic books with, like, you know, Superman and Spider-Man and Batman. And obviously they had all these skin-tight costumes on. You could see every muscle in their skin, just simply through their clothing. And if you look at that, you really see how that's not real. I mean, you know, you want your comic hero to be as real as possible. Yes, we know it's a superhero. Yes, we know that it's fake. Superheroes aren't real, or are they? But superheroes aren't real. However, you want them to feel as real as possible because you want people to be able to relate to them. You know, they can't just have a character that can do anything and you know, not have any problems. That's why Spider-Man was a lot more popular than Superman for a while. I think he still is, actually, because Spider-Man's a character we can relate to because he can't pay his rent. He's a kid. He gets bullied in school, things like that, where, you know, a lot of real people deal with situations like that. So here we go. So I'm drawing these clothes on One Punch Man. We're just going to keep inking it until we like it. Great thing is I can always erase if I need to. All right, so you see the clothing kind of coming together there. You know, later on, as comics started to advance, when I got older, guys and girls in the comic trade, they started drawing characters with, like, real clothing. Like, you know, Spider-Man was in his costume, but you'd see wrinkles on it. You'd see his mask kind of unkempt, you know. So it kind of made it a lot more realistic, and that's why I think the Marvel movies work so well, because they kind of borrow from a lot of those, I guess you would call them tropes that they put in the comics now. All right, so we got some clothing happening here, and let's go do his collar. Once again, I'm going a little slower so you guys can watch what I'm doing, but and let's see here. So again, this big zipper pull is really kind of funny on this guy. Oops. Now I can. The cool thing is I can back off on this on the iPad Pro Procreate. If I don't like a line, I can just touch 2 fingers and it goes away, or 3 fingers makes it come back. There you go. So, but again, you can't do that in your sketchpad. All right, so now I'm going to do his clothing and add a few wrinkles as I go. You know, we're going to give him some realistic kind of, you know, as you can see all the wrinkles in this figure here. It's really kind of cool the way they do that. So I'm going to stick to that sort of idea. Now remember I said I thought I drew his arms a little too long. I'm just going to shorten his hands a little bit. Just a little bit. You know, I have the advantage of having done many characters over many years. So if you're not this quick at this, don't worry, you will get there. It just takes practice, and I cannot stress enough how much practice goes into becoming an employable artist. Employable is the key. If you want to be employable, you need to practice your art every single day. And if you love it, you'll do it anyway. I don't even have to tell you to do it. So there's a couple wrinkles there. Let's get his belt going here. I'll speed up a little bit so we can get on to our next drawing. I do want to draw him in a pose for you. So let's see. So again, let's put a couple of wrinkles in his clothes. You know, when I was younger, I wanted to be a comic artist. And I got really disappointed when I started realizing that comic artists spend more time drawing non-superheroes than they do draw superheroes. Like, think about it in a comic book. In a Spider-Man comic, for example, you've got to draw Aunt May. She's not a superhero. You got to draw MJ Also not a superhero. Although, you know, she's MJ, fun to draw. And you got to draw buildings and cars and, you know, airplanes and things. And so you've really got to learn and hone your skills on basically everything. Not only do you have to learn how to draw it, if you're doing it for a living, you have to learn how to draw it fast. Because you get paid in comic land, you get paid by the page. So the more comic pages you can do, that's right, multiple panels, the more money you make. I've never worked as a pro comic artist though. I've always worked in animation, so but it's kind of the same thing in animation. The faster you can draw, the more you can do. But the faster you can draw, you know, you have to draw drawings that are usable. That's the main thing. All right, so One Punch Man does not have any underwear like Superman or Batman. He's got just his onesie, his one punch onesie. And so we kind of just make sure we capture that. Again, adding some wrinkles here. And I really love this character. I just think he's so much fun to draw. I'd love to write a story for him. Maybe let me draw a comic someday of One Punch Man. It'd be kind of cool. Someone who owns the American rights, if they're doing a comic book or something. Hey, that Butch Hartman guy, he likes One Punch Man. Let's get him to draw one. No, not Butch Hartman. He can only draw Two Punch Man. All right, so there we go. There's Saitama. We're getting there. Again, let's get his boots going down here. All right, now shoes and boots and things like that, that's a whole nother realm of artwork, getting clothing. I remember when, again, as I got older in comics, they stopped drawing Batman with just these like cloth boots, and guys really started drawing him with like military boots. Like that when Batman was jumping at someone, the bottom of his boot had all this tread on it and stuff. It's like, yeah, I guess those are the kind of boots he'd probably wear. You really start thinking about this stuff, the stuff has to look a lot more real. Okay, so there's One Punch Man. There's Saitama. And draw his cape. Whoops, I have my fingers on there. Should not have done that. There we go. Remember, you always want to draw through the fabric. I'll draw on another level here. I'll show you what I mean. See how this fabric, see this one line comes around like that? That's like if the fabric were invisible, you'd see that line. Well, let's get rid of that line because it's not really there. Again, if you want to, this fabric would come around like this. We're going to get rid of all that though. And I will show you on this level. All right, so there is Saitama. I'll get rid of the blue line. Actually, let's show you the blue line. There's the blue line. And there's the black line without the blue. So that could be a panel of a comic book, or that could be part of a model sheet or something like that. And yeah, so there you go. Now let's draw him in a pose now. Okay, now you've seen how to draw just the basic standing figure. Let's put him in a pose now and see what types of things we could do with that, okay? All right, so what I'll do is I'll go back into my gallery. Oops, there's a Danny Phantom drawing. You're not allowed to see that. Let me get that out of there. Okay, here we go. And let's open up another canvas. Now I'll do a horizontal view this time. So we've got this really cool pose of One Punch Man here. This is kind of a great pose. I love it. And maybe we'll just draw this pose. Let's see if we can draw this pose. Okay, so I'll put this over here. This is also a cool pose. Also a cool pose. It's a little more of a contained pose. It's more of it's like a superhero landing pose. Very cool. Maybe we'll do that one next time. But let's just stick with this one for now because it's kind of up and moving. I do like that one a lot. They're both great. Okay, so let's see here. I'm just going to have this thing face me here so I can get a good look at it. He keeps falling. He keeps wanting to fall. Okay, so again, I'll start with a rough sketch. Go with the blue line again. Now this is a standard punch move. You notice when you punch with your, well, when I punch, because I punch so much, when I go like this, if you're punching with your right hand, your left foot goes forward, and your left arm goes back, right leg goes back. It's always opposite. Your left leg moves with your right arm with the left leg, and even when you walk, you'll see opposite arm swings, opposite leg. Okay, little observations in life. So let's kind of draw One Punch Man here. I'll kind of draw my version of this pose. So now, if you know your basic shapes, you'll be able to really do any pose. You really will, as long as you stick to the rules. If you violate the rules. So here's what we're gonna do. Let me go back a bit here. Okay, so let's draw him coming, maybe kind of I'll draw an angled version of this pose. So here is his head. There's the head. Here's his neck. Now again, his body is sort of twisting away. It's kind of twisting up, I think. Yeah, he's kind of twisting away from us because of the angle I'm looking at. So his shoulders here, his bicep and his middle of his arm is like a tube. And then his body's kind of coming forward. He's pulling his arm back like that. Yeah, and then he's twisting. I'm just kind of looking at the pose again. So you kind of see my basic shapes. You know, I've got tubes for legs, circles for knees, and hands for now, like kind of squares for hands. So one arm's coming back. And you can see his foot is kind of off the ground here because he's twisting on his toe. So don't forget that. There's all these factors to keep in mind when you're doing any type of an action pose. And by the way, this all goes for anything. If you're doing a cartoon pose or a cartoon character, it really doesn't matter, you know, what kind of character they are. They've all got to obey the same rules. Like if I was drawing the Crimson Chin, he would be drawn with the same set of rules because he is also a figure that I've got to draw following a certain line of action. And speaking of line of action, in this pose, you know, I'm kind of not liking this pose right now. I think it's a little boring. This is exciting, and my drawing is a little boring. I'm going to draw a different version of this. But I want to do something for you. I want to draw the line of action over this. Here's the line of action. Let me draw it in red, actually, so you can see it. Okay, so there's a line of action. Every action pose has one line that kind of goes through it. There's sort of a line here, if you can see it. It kind of goes through them like that. That's kind of the line of action of this drawing. So let's get rid of that. Let me try another one just for the heck of it here. See, they're not all perfect. They're not all amazing. I could have made that one work, but I want to show you guys that it's okay to start over again. So I'm going to kind of draw the angle I'm seeing him at right now. I'm kind of looking down on him. And when I'm looking down on him, I can kind of see the exact pose. I was sort of making it up on my own. So this is very cool. It's a very cool angle of this pose. I like it a lot more. His hand is coming sort of right at me. I can exaggerate a little bit because I am an artiste. So I'm making his hand a little bigger coming into camera. So there's that. His body's sort of turning away. Yeah, this looks a little more fun than the last pose. And I can see his hand back here. I'm glad they actually made this figure. Come on, because you know, it's One Punch Man. All it takes is one punch. Or would that mean have a nice Hawaiian punch? How'd you like a nice Hawaiian punch? That was an old commercial from, okay, never mind. All right, so there is his, I'm going to shrink this a little bit so I got room for it. There we go. And then I'm going to draw, yeah, there we go. He's a little more action-packed here. This is a little more of a cool-looking pose. Again, he's not a big guy. He's a scrawny, kind of an average size guy. Actually, this arm is raised up more. I'm going to take this arm out of here. I'm going to raise it up. Because, again, he's kind of coming right at me. It's really coming right at my face as I look at this. Yeah, sort of like that. There we go. And you can see some of his muscles because he does have kind of a tight costume on. Always been a big fan of superhero costumes. Who is your favorite superhero and what's their what's your favorite superhero costume? Leave a comment down in the comment section. Let me know. Do you like the Spider-Man costume? Do you like the Batman costume? Do you like the Iron Man costume? Hey, there you go. All right, so there's kind of the pose we're in. And he's got this great cape movement coming up off of his body here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. So I got his foot. I'm kind of facing his, yeah, he's kind of facing me right there. I'm going to make his other foot kind of coming more into camera too. So that's kind of the pose we're in here. I'll shrink it just a little more. There we go. And I will, I'll deal with all the other details as we move forward. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to get to his face a little bit. I'm going to kind of do a kind of a bluer. I'm going to blue in his face, and then I'm going to put blue lines on his face here. Don't be like Tobias. I'm in the Blue Man group. Okay, so kind of again anime eyes. He's got these very lengthy diagonal eyes. His ears. All right, so there you go. There's kind of a One Punch Man pose there. That's kind of what we got going on here. But I don't even like that head. That looks really weird. This pose is tricky for me. His neck comes out more. That's what it is. His neck comes out like that. There we go. So that's kind of what's going on. So I'm going to ink this now. And all we really have here, if you look, I'll just draw kind of on the side here what we're dealing with. We've got an oval shape for his head. We've got kind of a cylinder for his body. Cylinders for his arms. Kind of a, box for his hands. And just, it's real simple stuff. It's just knowing how to put it all in the right order, which I, of course, am always still learning myself. And then you put the cape. Again, learning drapery is very important when it comes to making something look cool. So that's sort of the simplified version of what we're doing here. So I'm going to now go to my eraser. I'm going to erase all of this. And let's get into inking. Let's give this a try. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. There, we got that. Okay, we'll get rid of this level and this level. Now I'm going to drop the opacity of this level. So I can begin to ink it, and then we'll come up with some really cool inks, hopefully. So there we go. So let's go to the face first. I always go to the face first sometimes because it kind of centers the whole drawing for me. Starting with his ear. That's a simplified version of an ear. Now, a lot of times, these days, I don't even do the outline of the character. I mean, the blue line. I just draw so much, you kind of just know innately where things go. But when you're just starting out, you need to do that. You need to keep doing your blue line or your underlying structure lines because it's going to really help you. Okay, so there we go. There's his there's his angry face. And see, so we're going to put his eyebrows on there. And he's a very clean shaven guy. I'm really lucking out here again. Like I said, no hair to mess with on him. Very hip and trendy dude with no hair. I think in the show he says, I worked out so much, all of my hair fell out. Okay, so we got the face going, right? There we go. Face, success. Success on the face. We did it. Yeah. Okay, and he's got his cape again. Make the cape go out there like that. We'll get back to the cape in a second. Remember, always know where you're. Always kind of keep your roadmap of the character in your mind. Where's his cape? Where is his shoulder? Where do all the wrinkles in the clothing go? And again, I think I should just do a whole video on wrinkles sometime because people really don't take it. They take it for granted. Your drawing will have a lot more reality appeal. We'll call it real appeal, if you will. Put some wrinkles in there. Okay, so. And if you guys are real nice at the end of this drawing, I'll even color it. All right, cool. So there's his hand. I made it coming a little bit more forward than normal. Took a little liberty there. And his belt, yes, his belt is pretty straightforward. A couple little clasps there on his belt. And I'll add a shadow here too. I'm going to put a shadow under his arm just for stylistic purposes. Blacks on the drawing, ink areas are really powerful. If you have a big, thick ink area, it pulls your eye right to it. That's why a lot of comic strip characters back in the day were black and white, like really thick black, like Felix the Cat and things like that, where there's a lot of heavy inks on characters because they pull your eye to them. It pulls your eye to them. Okay, there we go. Now we really can't see any of his other arm from where I'm sitting, so we kind of just see his glove. Okay, let's thicken up his eyes a little bit. There you go. He's got like real nice eye makeup on. I don't know if that's an anime thing, but they have amazing eye makeup all the time. All right, there you go. And so I'll just start. I'm going to speed up a little bit here so I can get this guy done for you. Oops, a mistake. Let's get rid of that right there. I'm going to draw his body and everything first, then we'll get to the cape. Okay, so this has got some wrinkles there. And kind of can see his muscle through there a little bit. You know, it was Jack Kirby that I really learned from as a kid, who really showed me how to stylize the human figure. Look at Jack Kirby's drawings. Anything from Captain America to Fantastic Four, just all his early Marvel stuff, Thor, anything like that. The guy just really stylized the human body in such a way and used the heavy, heavy black ink areas in such a powerful way. It was like, wow, that's how you can make a character in and really not just a character, but just a piece of artwork. Draw people, just pull people's attention right to it. It's really, really cool. So learning from others is definitely a paramount assignment. If you are a comic artist or just an artist in general, definitely learn from other people. So there we go. We'll color his belt black, and we'll leave a little area for a highlight there. So there you go. There's, oh, actually, that middle part isn't black. Okay, get rid of that. And yeah, he's got red and yellow going on. So let's draw the rest of his cape. You draw on a cape, the more fluid lines you can keep, the better it is. Instead of going like sketch, 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 you can do that, but if you just kind of keep it, flowing naturally, it'll look a lot better. So really get your ink technique down. There we go. So there is our One Punch Man pose. There we go. That's a pose based on this figure that I'm looking at right here. And let's see, I can probably put a couple black areas here. I know his outfit is yellow, but the black area will still, it won't detract from the yellow, but it'll cause it looks like a shadow, which is very fun. I love putting the shadows in. I used to be very afraid of the shadows. I used to be afraid to put big black areas down. I was always too terrified it would ruin the drawing. But I got over it. I made like a hurdler in a run, and I got over it. All right. Okay, let's color this guy, shall we? Let's shall. How about a shadow by his hand over here, too? I think there should be one right in there. And you'll understand where to put these shadows. Everyone's going to have their own subjective way of doing this as you go forward in your art career. You figure out where to put shadows, where not to put them. That's kind of fun, right? There's some cool shadows there. Maybe one more. Now I'm going shadow happy. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh, I got some, I can actually see a little bit underside of his cape right there. I'll put a shadow there too. There. So the shadows are kind of balanced out. Now what we'll do, get rid of the blue line. Now I'll color him real quick for you. So before I color him, let's put a background color behind him. So he is a yellow and red character, yellow and red. So let's put maybe like a blue behind him, like a really nice blue. And I'll grab a cool brush pen here. Again, if you're doing this on regular canvas or not a digital pad of paper, or digital tablet, that's fine. Just be careful because what you put down with normal stuff you can't take away. So I'm just doing this on digital art, in a digital art medium right now so you guys can see that I can take stuff away if I want. Like if I didn't like the blue right there, I would just get rid of it. I can change it to, I don't know, a green. Let's put a green back there. Let's see what that looks like. So we could do that. Look at that. Woohoo! What do we like, the blue or the green? The blue. I kind of like the blue. I'm going to go with the blue. Okay, so let's go another level. Let's grab the yellow. His yellow is not a super bright yellow. It's kind of a canary, well, maybe a mustardy yellow. Grab this other pen, other paintbrush, I mean. We'll just fill in the yellow areas now real quick. Again, this is how to do it really quick. So there's his outfit very fast. I'm going to erase all this stuff that's not inside the lines. He's one mustard man. Hey Jace, you want some mustard?
Would love some.
Mustard would be great, and maybe a hot dog. Ooh, who wants a nice juicy hot dog? Hey Jace, do you eat hot dogs?
I do not.
You don't?
Nope. Hamburger is all me.
Hamburger, you're all hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
Hamburger guy. Jace, what's your favorite kind of hamburger?
Plain hamburger.
Just that's
Sometimes I'll put lettuce on it too.
nice. Okay, now so his belt buckle is gold. I'm going to color over this part that I messed up. Went a little too nuts on the gold. There we go. Now his belt is black, but I'm going to make the edges of his belt kind of a light gray. It'll still get a black belt feeling. Ooh, black belt. Butch, you mean like karate? No. Okay. That's not what I mean. Not even close. So you see there's one punch. Ooh, you see him coming to life a little bit there. Now we got red on his gloves and red on his boots. Let's get the red. Take it down to a kind of a duller tone red. I can brighten it up. So here we go. We're going to color over the yellow. We're on a different level here. You know, if you're good at coloring books, imagine how much fun it'll be making your own lines to color into. So there we go. again, all comic book characters and all figures, human figures, follow the same set of rules because all human figures look the same. I mean, yes, I know there's differences, but you know, basically the same. 2 arms, 2 legs, head, nose, ears, all of that, basically the same. And so they all follow the same rules. Again, I gave the tone down red. I can always brighten it up, but I kind of like this because I'm going to no, I'll kind of keep it. I like this. You know what this red reminds me of? Is like the head of a plunger color. Does it kind of look like that to you, Jace?
Mm-hmm. See it?
You see it?
Ooh, Larry boy.
How's that hot dog?
Delicious.
Is it yummy?
Eat some mustard.
No. Whoa! Got a whole bunch over here in his costume. Okay, there. So now, and his cape is white. So we're going to draw his cape white. Yes, I'm getting to his face in just a moment. So the cape is white. What a unique looking character. I'm not, you know, if someone says, "Hey Butch, design the most powerful superhero in the world." Is this what I would have designed? Probably not. But the joke is they made him really unassuming, which is what I love. He's just like this guy. You're like, he's the guy? That's the dude? There's like nothing appealing about him except the fact that he's One Punch Man. Okay. All right, so let's, so there you kind of see the character coming together there, right? Again, I went a little slower to show you guys what I was doing. We'll kind of erase these lines here. Let me know if you guys enjoy this video down in the comment section because I want to know if you guys want to see me do more how-to videos. Maybe more anime characters or even some Nickelodeon characters of mine or other people's. Happy to do that. Or even Marvel characters, DC, Star Wars, whatever. It'd be a lot of fun to do different characters from different genres. If I'm going to do Star Wars, though, I want to do classic Star Wars, like Luke, Han, Chewie, all that stuff. I'll do those characters. It'd be more fun for me. Okay, now we will do his face, which is kind of a Caucasian-y, flesh tone-y color. There we go. I know he's an anime character, but he's got kind of a Caucasian-y color to his face. So, there we go. Cool. So you can kind of see there's our One Punch Man. I got a few more details to fill in here. For example, the edge of his collar is white. Fill that in real quick. Erase all. Oops, let me erase that. Okay, and then I got to color his eyes in white, correct? Yes. Oops, let's get to that layer. There we go. Okay, now, why can't, there we go. Now I got it. Okay, so now a little bit of shading. I'll put another layer up, and I'll just kind of darken. To shade, with coloring, you kind of just take a darker version of all the colors that you have. For example, this yellow. I'll grab the yellow there and just go slightly darker, and then kind of draw over it. You know, you'll see like the shading. And always know where your light source is. I'm going to have the light source coming from this side, from his, well, from this side, from the left. My left, which would be his right. So everything on the left has to be lighter, as if there's a sun over there. Okay, and under here is going to be all darker because that's a shaded area because it's under his body. And just up here, shade up there. Yeah, so there's the shading there. Now let's get rid of that there. Let's shade the gloves. Again, a darker version of that color. And we will shade, again, keep the light on the same side. Even though you switched colors, you're still keeping your light source on the same side. Because if I drew it on the opposite side, it would look weird. And again, keeping the shading on the same side over here. Slightly darker. And let's put some shading on his face. Let's go slightly darker on his skin tone. And again, keeping that. He kind of got kind of Avatar looking there, didn't he, almost? I know, Aang and One Punch Man don't have any hair. What's up with that? Are they the same person? I don't know. All right, so there's One Punch Man. Let me put some shading on his cape. Now it's white, so I'm going to use gray for the shading. I will use gray, and I will just kind of give some big gray areas here to the cape. And let's see, we'll kind of go there. Don't freak if you cover some other areas, because on this program you can always erase them. When you're painting on actual canvas or an actual piece of paper, it's a whole different thing. Okay, and okay, there's One Punch Man. But wait! I have to give him a little bit of a rim light. I'm going to give him a white rim light on the edge of his body, because it'll pull it out a little bit more in a 3D way. Look a little bit cooler. Just give him a little white rim light there. My Apple Pencil battery is getting low. Hey, big guy. Sun's getting real low. I loved in Ragnarok when Thor said to the Hulk, hey, big guy, sun's getting real low, and the Hulk just drilled him into the wall. Was that when he grabs him and slams him around like Loki, and Loki goes, that's what it feels like? Very fun. And, normally when I'm drawing, I'll sit and I'll listen to music, or I'll listen to, a podcast or watch a movie or something, and just have it kind of in the background. It's kind of fun. So drawing for me is a very relaxing thing. This video might feel very relaxed to you because I'm kind of hanging out and chilling out and doing this. So, it's kind of just a relaxed vibe. All right, man. So there you go. There is one. Oh, wait. Let me fix this part. I erased this and I should not have. There we go. Let's fix his head. Ha ha. Caught that. That was close. All right, so there's a picture of One Punch Man. Now watch this. Very cool feature of Procreate. I can blur out the background. Ooh, that's kind of cool. And then I can put this little effect right here, which is kind of fun. I go into luminance, and I put these little lights. It's kind of fun. Here we go. Ready? Oop, wrong color. Oops, wrong color. There you go. And I got to sign it. Now, if you're an artist, I want you to get a cool signature. I'm not saying my signature is the coolest signature ever. However, my signature, I developed it over time, and it can add or detract from your drawing. If your signature isn't halfway decent, it'll take away from your drawing too. So I saw one more thing I want to fix. Wait. I want to add like some highlights on his belt. So let me go to the belt. There we go. All right, so there is my rendering of One Punch Man. Drawn 2 different ways, just kind of standing still, kind of basic, and then a full pose colored drawing based on this figure right here. There you go. So check out the figure. Check out the drawing. Let me know if you guys want to see me draw some other stuff, if you like the how-to videos. I love doing them. So maybe we'll start doing more of these and some more entertaining stuff as well. But I want to start doing some more different types of videos. So it'll be fun for you guys as you tune in. All right, guys, don't forget to subscribe. Please, it'd be really awesome if you could do that. And give me a like. That would be even so much cooler. Thank you very much. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, don't forget, art gives you power. Use it wisely. Hey Heart fans, subscribe here to keep up with me, Danny, Timmy, Dudley, Bunsen, and the NOOG Network, my new app full of cartoons, shows, and games. Download it here. Click over here to watch my most recent video, and here to start a playlist related to this video. Whoa, check out that awesome fan art. To be featured here, use hashtag HeartFanArt and tag me. I'm on every social media platform known to man. Cartoon Butch out. Pencil drop.